Have you ever had an instance where you're wondering if this port is PoE or if all these ports are PoE, if PoE is active on a switch and you don't want to drag around an IP phone or an access point to figure that out? Well, I think this product might be the answer to your concerns and the concerns that I've had about the same thing. My name is Matt Darnell with ComTel.Cloud, like up in the sky. Here we talk about all different kind of technology, hardware, software, that relate to small and medium-sized businesses. And everything that you see here, I purchased. So you're going to get my honest review, my honest opinions, not beholden to anybody. But let's take a look at this device here. So this is from a company called PoE Texas. It is a PoE Tester Gen 2.5. Just looking at it, it's kind of a generic box. I mean, it is printed on there, but let's take it open here and see. I have not even opened it yet to see what's inside. Okay, so we have got a little manual here talking about that. So this is not what I expect. So this is kind of the difference between, PoE Texas is not a huge conglomerate like Apple or anything like that. Um, this probably this says, I think, version 2 version 2.5, and looking, I don't think this was made, this box was made for version 2.5, because you can kind of tell the sticker is over top of another sticker. There's curved sides here, and there's one curved side there, but this does not. Maybe that's supposed to be in there sideways like that, and mine just. And then, okay, maybe this is probably how it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be packed like this and with the box. But you can kind of see from this little indentation there that it's for a long time. This cord's been on top of there. But I'm honestly not sure what this cord is for. And we have something here that says PoE detector. And it talks about passive 24 volt, passive 48 volt, which I don't know if I've ever seen. And then it's got the normal 802.3 AF AT standard, and then it lets you know if things are reversed. So this just looks like it's a termination, kind of like you'd have with the cable tester, and then with some lights here. So we'll test that out. And then so this is a PoE detector, and this is the PoE tester. It's got an on-off switch. Oh, okay. Simulate PoE for device, on or off. Simulate PoE for device. Not sure what that means. So maybe we can put DC voltage into here, and then kind of like a power injector. This can be like a power injector. I don't know. I'm actually gonna have to read the manual on this to see what this is. And there is a screen. I was just thinking that you plug it into the switch, and then it's going to tell you on the screen how much voltage it's what the standard is at all. Because both sides have got this the I guess that's the female side of the barrel plug, female male combination, and there's one here right there, and it says power out, power in. So I'm assuming this is the side that would go to the switch. And yeah, okay. So this is quite a bit, more than I thought it was going to be. I thought it would just plug right into the switch and it would say, hey, this could give you, 15 volts or 30 volts or 60 volts or 90 volts, watts. It'll give you that many watts of PoE. That's what it's capable of. But let me go ahead and read the manual on this a little bit and get set up, and we'll do some tests. I just spent a few minutes looking through the manual, and boy, that didn't really help a whole lot. Apparently, this can test DC power supplies and give you the voltage. So we're just going to go ahead and test it out and see what we can do. We're going to start with this detector here, and this is plugged into a Gen 1 Unifi switch. So if I just plug this in, it should be regular. So I should get flashing And then it's got mode A and mode B. And I guess that's T568A versus B, or I'm not sure actually. But so it's flashing there. So that's a good thing. So flashing green solid is passive 24 volts, which it's not. Flashing is okay, 802.3 AFAT. Let's go ahead and look at this and see if we can. This is in port number 7 on this switch. Let's go ahead and change port. Oh, it hasn't been updated yet. Port 7. I refresh this, port 7 will probably be show on. No, it does. Oh, this must not register as a device. So, but let's put port 7 and put on 24 connected device. It could be damaged. Absolutely. 24 volt passive PoE. What that means is it's sending voltage down the line no matter what. So if you plug your laptop or any regular NIC, network interface device, Ethernet into 24 volts, it's probably going to fry it and ruin the device. So let's go ahead and change that there. And it's going to take a second for that to happen. But if we look, so what we're thinking is this is going to go from a flashing green to a blue green solid, which would be passive 24 volt. Let me try to bring that up for you. Maybe this might be a little bit better to read what's actually on there. And so, oh, there it went right there. So passive 24 volt is that green solid, which it is. So, all right. So this is a real simple way to tell if PoE is passive 24 volts or if it is regular, standard based PoE AFAT. Okay, so coming back here, let's go ahead and change that back right now before we break anything. What I wanted to do is, let's change that back to regular PoE plus. And it doesn't give you the warning that something could break when you switch it back to regular PoE, because when you do regular PoE, they actually plug in, they negotiate back and forth. Okay, so this is pretty simple. Let me show you. This whole thing cost me about 90 bucks here for both of these. The PoE detector, I guess separately, that's 17 bucks. And there is 80 bucks. But if you buy them together, they actually charge, no, you save, you save about 7 bucks. You buy them separately, it's like 96. You save a few bucks if you buy them together. But this is what I purchased that. And, yeah, if you use this one time and it works, so here we are flashing back to solid green. So the port has been updated. I wanted to test this to see, I'm assuming it's going to tell me how much something is pulling, how much power. And what I've got is one of the U7 lights, the new Unifi access points. And this is one of the in wall, which I believe this one that I grabbed has PoE out. So first, we can just for fun see how much power this access point draws using this here, and then we can plug in this access point. We go and onboard all these into Unifi, and then plug this access point into the PoE out. I believe this has PoE out for there, and then see how much more power it draws there. So let's go ahead and get that set up. So let's put this aside, and so this is going right into my Unifi switch. So PoE DC, so power in. We're going to go in there like that and see. Oh, so it boots up PoE Texas. It kind of looks really funky in the on the video, but in person it's very it's solid. You don't see that flicker at all there. It says PoE 802.3 AT mode A, no PD, 53.12 volts. So let's go ahead and just look at Unifi and see if it sees that as a device. If I refresh this here, if it's gonna nothing yet, but it might just not have updated yet. Well, I'll check that later. Okay. So now, let's take a look at this access point and plug that into this and see what kind of whoops, easy for you to do, real standard. You get your mounting screws and the little doohickey to unmount these. Let's go ahead and do that. This is the mount on a wall kind of stuff. All right, so I'm gonna need another patch cable. The ones that we use for the Ugreen NAS, and yeah, the speed test video is about done with the Ugreen NAS. Spoiler, it's faster than the Synology. The caching is so much better, to the point I think we did something wrong with the Synology. It actually operates like you think it would. Okay, so we got this switch here, and now let's plug it in here, and we can see. Okay, now it's 3 watts, 3.0. So it's telling me, I know you can't see that very well. 3.5 watts, not that many watts, because traditional PoE you can do 15 watts, and these are PoE Plus, which should be 30 watts. So as this is booting up, you probably can see the blue there. Let me try to show this to you again. See if you can see there in the bottom left-hand corner. It's kind of showing that wattage there. So it's 3.6, and we'll get to the point where we can onboard this. Let's wait for it to pop up here in Unifi. There's probably an update, but yeah, it's about 3.11, 2.95, hovering right around, up and down, 3.2, 2.95. Then it's gonna boot up, and then oh wow, up to 5 watts now, 52 volts. Okay, and it gives you the amps. You just multiply volts times amps. That gives you the watts. So amps is about 0.1 amps. Let's go ahead, and here we go. The U7 light is right here in our Unifi now that we have that there. So let me go ahead and it's got that little 7. I've never seen that before. 7. Let me go and adopt that. And looking at this device and looking at this here, yeah, it's still 5.1, 5.7. So this is just going to adopt. I'm curious if it's going to hop up a lot when it does that. But while this is adopting, and it's probably a firmware update for that, we can go ahead and open up the this is the U7 in-wall, not the Pro, but the in-wall. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. And we can see what we've got here. I haven't we have some of the old, this is quite a bit bigger than the U6s. Wow, quite a bit wider and heavier for that. But just looking at, now this was $140, and this device here was $80. But looking, the packaging difference, when you have that scale, between just throwing it in a box like this. So I don't blame them for this, but this isn't cheap. Something a little like this has got the rice paper thing around it. Just something that you could do. So this is just your traditional wall mount. I always thought that's so cute how they put the level right there. There we got that there. That is metal. This right here, this backing plate here is metal. Or maybe mount that right onto the like a single gang box, and you have that there. This is a wall mount. Okay, let's go ahead and put that over there. take a look at this. Oh, we got a little arrow here. And looking at this, so this is now back down to about 3 watts. So looking here, so this says PoE in 2.5, so it's got a 2.5 gig port there. And on this, we've got a reset 1 and 2, and I guess both of these ports are 2.5 gig, and this one has got the PoE symbol. So once this gets all adopted and updated, what we're going to do is plug this in through here, see how many watts we're pulling, and then we'll plug this access point into port 2 and just kind of see what efficiencies we have going through this device here. So I'm curious, place your bets. If I run this separate and this separate, add that wattage together, and then that's going to be X. If I run this this access point through this, is that going to be less or more than them together? I'm thinking it's going to be more. I just think the switch itself is going to do it a little more efficient. So when I'm running this access point through this, it's going to be more than when I'm doing it separate. So we're still onboarding here with that. So let me go ahead, come back when we're onboarded and we're ready to go, and then we'll plug this in, get some final readings from the device, and then we will plug them all in and see what happens when they go together. Okay, so our U7 is up to date. There were no updates for it, but it's online. Everything is good to go. We've got a solid light here, and I'm going to call it 5 watts. It's 5.0, 4.95, 5.2. So we'll just call it 5 watts. That's good enough for government work. So let's go ahead and unplug this now and plug in. Wow, and no PD no power delivery. On this here. But let's go ahead and plug this in to, so it's only, again, it's a 2.5 gigahertz port, but only plugged into a gigabit switch. But that shouldn't really matter so much. We get a white light right there, and this is right around 4.5, 4.6. So this, before it actually started working, this is a little bit more than what the access point was. So let's go ahead and this should boot up. We'll be able to onboard it into the laptop and see what kind of wattage we're pulling when we put it through, when I plug this access point into this port right there. So let's go ahead, refresh this. Let's take a look over here, refresh this. So that is offline, to be expected, because we unplugged it. I do really like this device. One word of warning: this is not the U7; these were the U6s. We had like 5 of these in an office building. Each one was in a separate room, and what weird things would happen whenever we had to reboot the switch. And what we nailed it down to was, for somehow these, multiples of these, like the Wi-Fi would boot up before you could connect it to, it would connect through the wired part. But they had power, so they booted up. But the internet was available on Wi-Fi before the internet was available on this. So like 3 of them would jump into mesh mode and try to feed stuff back into the network, as opposed to, whenever it's in mesh mode, it should see, hey, I have a wired connection. I want to, use that one, as opposed to mesh mode. And so we had to go in, as soon as we turned off meshing off of all the access points, everything went back to normal. But that was kind of a weird thing there, that they wouldn't fall back to wired. So here we got it, the U7 in wall. Let's go ahead and adopt that. And this is 5.7, 5.5. on the wattage there. So let me go ahead and let's get this on board. I'll do any updates that we need, and then we're going to plug this fella into this here and see if it adds more or less than 5 watts when we add that in there. Okay, so we have our in wall. It's all up to date. Again, there were no updates for that, but it is adopted, ready to go. I'm looking at this. This is about, I'm going to call it 5.8 watts here. Now it's just 5.9, 5.2, 5.6. But let's take our access point here and plug it into the power port on there. And it should, let's see, as soon as this comes online, so now we're 6.25. You know what? Does this need PoE plus plus? Wonder if I need to turn that port on in Unifi, because yeah, this is not booting up. It can't be because of the skinny cable. Let's see here. So if I plug this in here, a regular size patch cable, I'm imagining we have to turn on the yeah, not getting any blue lights or anything in there. So let's check this out. U7 in wall. So the uplink is there. Let's see, all of them. Oh, PoE mode off. Strange they would have that. It's active. PoE pass through. What does that mean? Pass through. PoE plus out data. Well, let's assume it's just gonna be PoE plus, but I'd rather I break my stuff than have you break your stuff. So let's take a look here, and as soon as this updates, we can see if this starts to blink. I'll let you know if I see a blink, but yeah, that's strange. It would call it pass through. So it's just passing through the PoE from, coming in from the switch and there, and not just come out and say it's standard PoE, because I mean this certainly would work under standard PoE. Only needed much less. Was it 15.4 watts or something? Okay, It just jumped up to 10. So this So this is going here. So 9.2, 10.7 watts. So okay, yeah. So yeah, I'm not really a fan of that nomenclature, that it's PoE pass through. PoE pass through or off. So I don't know if that means if I pull plus plus into here, this is going to spit out plus plus. Or I think there's plus 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 in the ubiquity world, that this would spit out plus plus plus. But this is certainly should show online here. It's blinking white, so it's going to come online. In Unified hasn't refreshed there yet, but wattage, I'm about 12 watts, 12.5. So I mean, it's 12.9 watts. Okay, now I've got blue here. You could probably see that there. I go back here and just do, I don't know if a refresh is going to help that, or if it's going to show adopting, it's readopting it right there with that. So now we're 12.3, 12.7, 12.4. So I was actually right. It is a little bit less efficient power wise when you go through here to power that, and that makes sense. So it's still less than 15.4 watts, which I believe PoE1 is. Definitely hit me down in the comments if you know if you know if I'm right or wrong about that. Okay, so here we are. Everything's online. Uh, both of these are plugged into. This is the Mac switch over on the other side of the room, but plugged into this here, and this access point is plugged into that port too. Um, so as far as this goes, 10 years ago, I think there was a lot more passive. I mean, perhaps if you are daily or even weekly, once a month, going around to a strange location and you have no idea what the scoop is, and you think there might be some passive PoE, and you can look at the switches. I mean, if they're older, 15 years older, and nothing looks modern, there's a chance you could run into passive PoE. You don't want to plug something like this in there because passive PoE will fry this. But other than that, to me, that's kind of a stretch. And this here, it was kind of fun because it tells me, we could do this test, but I don't think I'll ever use it again. I don't think I'll ever use either one of these again. This one by itself, I think was $17, just for the little part there, by itself here. And the other one, was $80 by itself. So yeah, tell me the use case. Hit me up in the comments. Let me know why this is worth $90, because I'm not seeing it here. It talks about testing. We have this, the DC connection that I guess we can test injectors or breakouts, but yeah, you just don't see that anymore. Everything is native PoE. So anyway, if I'm just completely missing the boat, hit me up in the comments. But I certainly am gonna put it back in the box, and I can't imagine I'll ever need it again. But if I do, it will be there. But if you have this, if you've used it and you think there's a great use for it, definitely let me know. But I personally don't think I'll ever use it again, and I won't return it to Amazon. I'm not that kind of guy. But it's just going to go up on the shelf and do. I think it was made in America. If it was, that's something really going for it. But it doesn't say that on there. But this is definitely 3D printed, not cast plastic. So hope it was made in America. But anyway, so this is Matt Darnell with ComTel.Cloud with something that might have a use for, but probably not. But hit me down in the comments if you like that. Definitely stick around because we have the Ugreen NAS, all the speed tests. We have a ton of GeoVision cameras we're going to be looking at, even a Synology camera that we're going to test the Synology stuff. And like with the Ugreen NAS, it has an HDMI port in. I still haven't plugged in a monitor into the HDMI port to see what you see. I'd be real curious because it has USB ports. Theoretically, you could put keyboard, mouse, all kind of fun stuff in there. And then we have the GrandStream, the PBXs, all that stuff. So a lot of great stuff coming. So please, if this is what you want to see, you definitely want to hit a like and subscribe. Stick around. Have a great day. Aloha.